What up, Delta Loungers? Welcome to another episode where we are going to go over the top 5 cities lacking a Delta Sky Club that needs one ASAP. Now, if you're like me and you really love the lounge lifestyle, when you're booking a trip, I check to see if the city has a Delta Sky Club, and I'm not going to lie, that influences my decision sometimes because I've gotten so spoiled and used to the lounge life. I gotta have it. Now, if you checked out the previous episode when I revealed the new Amex Reserve card that I got, that comes with access to other lounges, primarily the Centurion Lounge and the Escape Lounges. Now, I've only been to one of the Escape Lounges, and that was the one here in Minneapolis. It's okay. Found it to be overcrowded. The food wasn't as great. The bathrooms were like down a service hallway or something. Not the greatest experience, but obviously in a pinch, it'll do. Now, you may not know this, but Delta operates what's called a hub and spoke system. And this explains why they don't have lounges in a lot of cities that you think it would make perfect sense, or it's obvious. Why don't they have a lounge there? But if you don't know, a hub and spoke system acts as a central point. The hub is a central airport acting as a main terminal. The spokes are the flight paths that bring passengers from smaller towns into that hub. So this lets Delta gather travelers from many places and put them on large, full planes heading to major destinations. So Delta has basically hubs in Atlanta, Detroit, Los Angeles, Minneapolis, New York, both the airports there, Salt Lake City, and Seattle-Tacoma. So those are their main hubs. Now, notice where they're kind of lacking, especially down south, right? In the Texas area, that whole region, that's pretty much dominated by American Airlines. And hubs are very competitive. It's hard to get into, get access to the gates if a certain airline controls the gates, the hub at that location. United has a bit more of a presence in the Northeast, which makes it hard for Delta to get a foothold in that area. One city that sticks out, obviously, is Philadelphia. Delta does have a Sky Club there, but they don't have a hub location. So they're a minor player in the Philadelphia market. Now, it's interesting that, in fact, Delta pioneered the hub and spoke model. Now, if you haven't checked out the Delta Museum website, you should definitely check that out. It's got a lot of great information there. It's located right at the Atlanta airport. They've got an old decommissioned 747 that you can walk through, a flight simulator, and they do lots of special events. Like once a year, they'll do a craft beer party with exhibitors and things, and it's a sort of a charity fundraising event. So Annette and I are planning on making a trip down there to check out the museum, and of course we'll do a show about that. But if you haven't been to the website, so this is the Delta Flight Museum, and as I said, it's got a lot of stuff on there, including a lot of great historical facts. So you can see here, this one in 1955, says Delta pioneers extensive development of the hub and spoke system in the 1950s. Using Atlanta as a cross-connecting point, Delta expands service choices and frequencies for medium and smaller southeastern communities to distant, larger cities and each other beyond what they could support with direct point-to-point flights. So a lot of the smaller carriers, your more economy carriers, they only service point to point. They aren't doing connecting flights, right? It continues to say arriving and departing flights were scheduled for operational efficiency in Atlanta, where passengers connected to other flights. Eastern Airlines also began to group flights by connecting times at ATL, and by 1955, between the hours of noon and 2 p.m., the noon push, Atlanta was the busiest air transfer hub in the world. So to reach some of those smaller cities, Delta uses their partner carriers like WestJet or one of those, and they're Delta branded flights, but they're not really run by Delta. So that's where they get a lot of these traffic from smaller cities get into their hub system or their focus cities. That's another thing. So the hub and spoke model, if you think about it, so how the model works, instead of flying directly from every small town to every other, like a web, Delta routes most flights through large central airports. Think of it like a bicycle wheel, the hub. The center of the wheel for Delta, their biggest hub is obviously Hartsfield-Jackson in Atlanta, but they've got about those other ones spread across the country. The spokes, think about the metal bars that connect the center to the outside tire. These are the short flights that bring passengers from smaller cities into Atlanta. So a lot of those smaller flights might be serviced by regional, or if they're a focus city, such as, let's say, Cincinnati, for example. Cincinnati actually used to be a hub for Delta. It no longer is, but they still have a big presence there, and it's kind of a focus city. So while it's not exactly a hub, they're not using regional carriers either to fly in and out of Cincinnati. Maybe if it's a really small flight or a red eye or something like that. But for example, if a passenger wants to fly from Des Moines to Orlando, they do not get a direct flight, right? Instead, they fly on a smaller regional jet from Des Moines to Atlanta, spoke, get off the plane, wait a short time, then board a larger jet in Atlanta to fly to Orlando. Another spoke. So that's really key. The hubs for airlines aren't really meant to be final destinations per se. Of course, now they've got hubs in the big cities like New York, LA, Seattle. So those, of course, are going to be a lot of final destinations. But the main purpose of the hub is twofold. One, it's to funnel passengers through to get them to get smaller groups to one and combine them into one larger group, put them on one larger plane, which is more fuel efficient, which is more efficient to get them wherever they're going to go. So you're not going to fly direct from Des Moines to Italy. You're going to get to Atlanta, and you're going to go from Atlanta to Italy or one of the other hubs. But second, the hub serves as a maintenance port, and this is very important. So, they can't put maintenance hangars and shops and technicians in every single airport that they fly to. So they concentrate those resources into the hubs. And that allows for more efficient maintenance, and that way planes fly into the hubs. They can drop off the planes, pick up a new plane, right? Service them, give them the oil change, whatever the case may be. But it's another reason why it's a money saving device, right? Flying a massive plane with 200 seats, half empty, is very expensive. But by funneling passengers from many different cities in the one hub, Delta makes sure their large planes are almost always full. And it also allows Delta to serve more locations. It allows Delta to offer flights to hundreds of small and medium-sized cities that otherwise would not have enough travelers to justify a massive airplane. So because a lot of these smaller regional cities are small flights, they're really trying to get them funneled into the large hub so they can consolidate all the people into the larger plane. It doesn't make economic sense for them to open up a dedicated Sky Club in certain cities. But, Delta is always expanding its footprint. They've made big announcements that they want to roll out more Sky Clubs. And so I've decided here are 5 cities that I really wish they would put a Sky Club in. Partly for personal reasons, but also I think this might make strategic and economic sense for Delta. The first city is Columbus, Ohio. Columbus, Ohio. Well, that's a little bit selfish on my part. It's a little bit work related for me when I travel for work. I've got some team members in Ohio. Columbus is quite a big city, and it's not serviced as a hub by any one particular airline. So it's ripe for an airline to come along and to pick up a hub, especially since the Northeast is so dominated by some of the other airlines. In my opinion, this could be a great location for Delta to come in, establish a foothold, sort of near the eastern seaboard. A lot of people call Ohio the Midwest, but come on, it's too far east to be the Midwest. If you're from Minnesota, nobody thinks of Ohio as being in the Midwest. But they fly a ton of international flights, direct flights out of Columbus. So how does this, or I mean, other airlines, right? Delta is really lacking a presence here at Columbus. So they already have a focus city in Cincinnati, which used to be a hub for them. They don't have anything sort of close by in the region that can serve both the South and the North. Come on, Delta. Let's pick up some gates. Let's make a move, and let's get a Sky Club in there. I mean, to me, this one makes a lot of sense. It's a big business hub. It's has a Federal Reserve location, and so a lot of banking, finance, insurance is all happening in Columbus. I mean, no offense to all you the Ohio State Buckeyes fans, but man, do you guys travel everywhere I go on vacation during football season. There's always somebody from Ohio State, huge crowds everywhere, right? So these folks travel well. You know they travel a lot. They're usually more high income folks. Delta, this one's ripe for the picking. So I say let's go in there, get some more gates, build a Sky Club. Come on. The next one that I think would be a good choice for Delta is San Antonio. Remember the Alamo. Now, why San Antonio? Well, Delta has recently really made an effort in the last few years to try to get a strong footprint in Texas, into the South, to really to get into that area that is so dominated by American Airlines at the big airports like Dallas. They've made a huge investment in Austin. Okay, now, and Austin, was a growing city, especially during the pandemic. But I think that shine has sort of lost a little bit of its luster on the city of Austin. San Antonio, though, it's close by to Austin, where Delta just put in a flight attendant base. So a permanent base there for flight attendants because they're really serious about getting into that market. San Antonio's close by, could be serviced by the same base, and it would just be a great footprint. I'm not saying make it a hub or even a focus city per se, but come on, a little Sky Club in San Antonio. It's a huge tourist spot. It's a beautiful area. Again, it's not a huge airport. It's not dominated necessarily by one of the other big guys. It's an opportunity where you could get another foothold in the door. And really, what's the purpose of a Sky Club? It's to build that loyalty brand, right? So the more Sky Clubs you have, the more that builds up the loyalty, that increases your presence, the force of your presence in the area. So Delta, I think you should put an eye out on San Antonio. Now, don't get me wrong, folks. I don't think I'm coming up with anything original. I'm sure the brain trust over at Delta has looked at every city everywhere that they fly to. They've got a strategy. So I'm just thinking, these are ones I'd like to see personally. But also, I think they're good locations. I mean, I'm just shocked that Columbus especially doesn't have a Sky Club. Maybe not so much San Antonio, but I think it'd be a great location, easy to go into. You wouldn't have to be a huge Sky Club. Could be one of their smaller footprints. and really elevate that experience and make some loyal travelers from there. All right, the next one. This one is a bit more of personal. I wish they had it, and that's Louisville. Did fly out to Louisville on one of their regional jets, SkyWest, I believe it was, on a CRJ 900. Fun city, really fun city. I mean, it's the heartland of bourbon, right? It's the Kentucky Derby. It's southern, so it could give Delta another sort of footprint where they're kind of lacking in that area. It's a small little airport, and again, the airport is nice, but it's kind of lacking for some amenities. Delta, if you go in, put in a Sky Club, claim a few more gates, get your footprint in a little bit more. Again, you're building that loyalty. People are like, wow, I really like this Sky Club experience, and now that Delta's really made more of a presence here, I think Louisville would be another great choice. Next up on the list, again, a little bit of a personal preference for me. I'm kind of surprised Delta does not have a Sky Club here, considering they have such a presence in other areas of Florida, and that's Fort Myers. So they've got Sky Clubs in real focus in Orlando, Miami. They're expanding Tampa, Jacksonville, West Palm Beach. They've got Sky Clubs at. Not Fort Myers? Come on, man. Now, I love going to Fort Myers Beach. It's a vacation spot, and you fly into Fort Myers, take a drive out to Fort Myers Beach, which is a little bit a ways away. But man, no Sky Club. It's like, I just want that full round trip experience. Start at the club, end at the club. Going to the club, when you're as old as I am, that's what clubbing is for people middle aged. So I think Fort Myers would be a great location. They do a lot of traffic to Florida. Come on, Delta. Why don't you have one in Fort Myers? And finally, this one I think everyone's going to agree. But before I do reveal my final wish list for where Delta should put a Sky Club, please do us a favor. Hit that like and subscribe button. Hit the notification bell. But also, we want to hear from you. You can follow us on X. I'll post a question about where you think Sky Club should be. Please respond there. Also, in the comments below here on YouTube, please go ahead and let me know. Did I get it wrong? Was I totally crazy about Columbus? What would be your top 5 cities that Delta doesn't currently have a Sky Club at? All right, time to reveal number 1, the place that is in desperate need of a Sky Club. Everyone's going to agree with this one. It's obvious if you think about it, and it's a crime. It's a crime, Delta, that you don't have a Sky Club here. And that, of course, is Las Vegas. Viva Las Vegas. My God, how do you not have a Sky Club in Las Vegas? Now, don't get me wrong. I do like the Centurion Lounge. However, only because it was probably one of the first lounges I ever went to, and it was a little bit of a step above as far as, the higher end liquors and better food, and the service was really top notch compared to the Sky Club experience back in the day. But did you know that the Centurion Lounge at LAS at Las Vegas is the oldest Centurion Lounge in the world? It's the first one they ever opened back in 2013. And let me tell you, it shows its age. I kind of dread going there now. It's always packed. The bathrooms suck. I mean, they're like there's like one stall in the bathroom. It's so tiny. The bar is teeny tiny. The food station is smallish. It's just showing its age. Now what really, I'm getting frustrated with Delta on this one because they had plans supposedly to open one in 2026. And then got pushed back to 2027. Then it was sort of indefinite. And now I'm reading online, it's not going to be till 2029? 2029? Come on, Delta. What are you doing? You're killing me here. All right. Maybe it's just because I'm about to leave for Las Vegas right after I get done recording this episode that it's really on my mind. But come on, Delta. You got to do Las Vegas. Can we move that timeline up, please? Pretty please. All right, folks. Well, thanks for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the list of our top 5 cities where we think Delta should put a Sky Club. Appreciate you tuning in, and we will check you next time on Delta Loungers.